Hi, welcome to Adventures in Bonsai. Today we're going to talk about making bonsai pots. A lot of people have been writing to me asking me to show them how I make my pots. So today is going to be more a lesson in pottery than bonsai. Many years ago, probably back around 1977 or 76, I started doing greenware pottery, where you go to a shop where they have molds and they mix up clay and water and they let the molds dry, and you get a pre-made form that all you do then is glaze, and then they fire it for you. That's a simple way and a lot of way people get started in pottery. Let's go take a look at one of my pieces I did there. This is a turtle that was pre-molded. Came in two pieces, and basically it says 1977. So all you do with these is you just glaze them and then they fire them, and they come out pretty nicely. Here's the date here, 5/13/77. Okay, so that's a simple way to do pottery, but you don't really have any control over the shape. So I got interested in the pottery and decided to take a class at a local Y. And there it's very nice because you get clay to work with. They show you some techniques for hand building and for using a wheel, and they fire it for you and they discuss glazes, and you can learn a lot, and it's a good way to get your pieces fired without having to have a kiln of your own. So I highly recommend doing that. So I did that for a couple of years in Philadelphia. Maybe not a couple of years, but here and there. And then down here in Florida, a couple of months ago, I saw they were giving another course in pottery. I'd taken one here about 10 years ago at one of the high schools, and it was the same high school, same teacher. And basically my goal was just to go to make bonsai pots there. I already knew what I wanted to do, and I really would suggest you finding these classes. They're around. If they're not at high schools, there are other pottery studios that will fire things for you for a fee. So you can become a potter too with minimal investment. Really, you need to buy some clay, and a lot of times the tools you need are just things in your kitchen that you can use. So let's go take a look and see how we start out fresh from a block of clay and get into making a pot. Okay, here's my kiln that I have, and here's some pots we just took out last night from the kiln. They came out pretty interesting, and I kind of like them a lot. And I even made a set of checkers. But what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to take this bag of clay and show you how I cut a piece off. Clays. This is basically a white clay. There's clays that have little tiny broken pieces of pottery in them already, which makes them a little bit lighter and a little bit stronger. You keep them in plastic bags because they will dry out. So you have to make sure that you keep the moisture trapped in the plastic bag. Let me go show you how I cut a piece off. You just peel the plastic bag down and get ready to make a slice. These little clothespins here that are nice because you can just attach them, and they've got a piece of string on it. And there's another clothespin at the other end somewhere here. And I'll show you what we do. The string or the wire, and we just take a guess as to how much clay we need. And we start to pull it through. And once it's through, you can separate the chunk of clay out. Not hard at all. Then make sure you close up your bag of clay. And now we'll go outside and work on the table. The bonsai table that I usually use, but I also use it now for clay. And basically I take a piece of canvas. Some people have a special table, but this is down nice and tight. It's held down, but right now I'm just using this table for both. Okay, now the first thing you want to do with your clay is to wedge it. And what that means is throwing it down, get all the air bubbles out of it. You don't want air bubbles in there because when the clay gets fired, if there's air bubbles in it, there's a good chance they're going to explode and destroy your piece. So this is called wedging the clay, and I kind of like throwing it down and smashing it that way. Used to work with a small rolling pin. It's my old one. Now I just got this brand new big one here, and that's what I'm going to use today for the first time. Okay, so I'll take this piece and start to roll it out. You roll it in different directions. It spreads out. And you just kind of want to make it as thick as you want to make it. Now I like making my bonsai pots thick and heavy. It stops the wind from blowing them over, and it helps keep the squirrels from knocking them over. And I'm just trying to get down to a thickness here that I think is good for a bonsai pot. I'm not worried about the edges at all, so I'll be adjusting them later. It's pretty cold out here last night, and this clay is a little tougher to work with when it's this cold, but it's okay. Okay, this looks like it could be a pretty interesting thickness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up to the lanai. And the trick is when you pick it up to make sure you support it as best as you can, because otherwise it'll flip-flop and pieces will break off. I'm going up to the lanai with it now. So here